To make Jag as authentic as possible, former Marine Matt Sigloch was brought on board.
I was in the Marine Corps for 22 years and retired as a Master Sergeant. And when I first went in the Marine Corps, I was an infantryman.
Matt was on Marine One, which is the Marine helicopter that carries the president.
When Ronald Reagan was in office, Sigloch was one of the soldiers assigned to accompany him on helicopter trips. His impressive military resume also included combat roles in Vietnam, Lebanon, and Iraq. Sigloch was initially cast as a drill sergeant in the pilot episode of Jag, but his military knowledge impressed Belisario so much, he made him the show's technical advisor.
Matt's job was to take everybody on the show and make them military, square them away.
And I had to do all the procedures with everybody. You know, this is what you do, this is where you go, this is what you got to put on, this is what you take off, blah, blah, blah.
It wasn't always easy making the actors look like soldiers.
The toughest thing was teaching them how to salute. If you don't know how to salute and you've never done it, you look very awkward until you've done it a few times.
Nobody knows how to salute. Even people in the military don't know how to salute properly. But Matt would train them. Get that arm at 45 degrees, get the thumb in the proper position, right above the eyebrow.
Canadian actor David James Elliott became friends with Sigloch while working on the show and relied on his expertise.
He asked me about a lot of stuff. He was the guy up in Canada that was just like a hippie. He didn't care about the military, he didn't want anything to do with it. Now all of a sudden, he's landed his job on a military show that is all about the military.
Fortunately for Jag and Sigloch, Elliott was a fast learner.
David was a phenomenal actor, and he could switch gears and become whatever he needed to be for those particular scenes.
One episode called for Elliott's character to be stationed on an aircraft carrier. Sigloch's attention to detail regarding the correct headgear initially fell on deaf ears.
I think a lot of the things he thought was just crazy. He hated wearing a cranial on the flight deck, which is the thing with the Mickey Mouse ears and the goggles on. And he thought all that stuff was just way over the top. And I told him, I said, no, you do.
The scene was filmed on a real carrier, and when the cameras stopped rolling, Elliott chose to stay on the ship.
We were on board for like 3 days and 2 nights. And we're gonna take people off at night. And he said, no, I wanna ride the whole thing out. We hated that he made that decision because of all the noise on the ship at night. I don't think he slept for 3 days.
Elliott also conceded to Sigloch's knowledge about the helmet choice for his character.
When we came off, I remember him saying, you're right.
During his long and distinguished career, Sigloch took part in many high-profile military missions.
I was involved in the evacuation of Saigon. I was a crew chief at that time.
On April 29, 1975, the North Vietnamese invaded the city of Saigon. Sigloch spent the day loading people into helicopters from the roof of the American embassy, constantly assuring anyone left behind that they'd be right back to rescue them.
The last time they made the announcement, that's it. Mission's complete. Done. Whatever you have, and that's it. We left people behind. We didn't want to, but we had to.
This traumatic experience became the inspiration for the episode Fortunate Son, when a soldier has a flashback to being a child on the last rescue helicopter to leave Saigon.
All the people and trying to get to the top to get on the helicopters and people being pushed, and we depicted it, I think, perfectly, at least from what I saw and I was there.
Like all American soldiers facing battle away from home, Sigloch's morale was boosted by a visit from the USO, a non-profit organization that provides entertainment to the troops.
USO has always been very motivating for troops that are overseas. It's a part of the real world coming to see you, because when you're in a situation, especially in a combat environment, you're aware that you may not go back.
Sigloch remembers how the USO helped his unit recover from a tragic experience in Lebanon.
With the bombing in Beirut, and we were all present for that, and we lost a lot of our own people. And then all of a sudden the USO show came, and it actually took you away for the hour.
Jag's tribute to the USO was set during the Vietnam War. The cast members appeared in musical flashbacks, and Catherine Bell stepped into the role of a USO singer.
Catherine Bell has that classic look about her where when they put the makeup on and the bright red lipstick, which was on back then, she just was beautiful.
Sigloch admits that there's a little bit of Hollywood in Bell's character.
You go on a Marine Corps base, we don't have majors that look like Catherine Bell. They're not there.
Jag's strong themes and sincere depiction of the American Armed Forces earned it a devoted army of followers.
JAG is a reminder there are good guys in the world and there are bad guys in the world. And you want to know that ultimately we're being protected. And so the military has always played a part of American pop culture.
The biggest compliment that I know is that when I meet people that were on active duty at the time or still are, and they go, "You were the advisor on there?" That show was like spot on. We portrayed the military in a very positive light. We did it in such a way that people respected the show, respected the uniform.
Coming up.